Imagine Broadway, 1964, and one of the biggest and most talked about conflicts in the theatre history between Sir John Gielgud and Richard Burton during their production of Hamlet. That is what this play is about, and for every theatre lover, it's a must-see. The Motive and the Cue celebrates theatre in an unseen way. If you're one of those theatre goers that goes to theatre and then you catch yourself thinking about actors' choices, staging, production, and just generally the craft of theatre, then this is the perfect play for you. The story follows rehearsal process during the 1964 revival of Hamlet on Broadway, where John Gielgud directed Richard Burton as Hamlet. And this has become one of the most successful Hamlet revivals in the history. But the rehearsal notes and memoirs from people who were involved in this production suggest that this has been one of the most uncomfortable shows to work on because of constant disagreements and conflicts between John Gielgud and Richard Burton, because they just couldn't find a mutual language to agree on how Hamlet should be portrayed. From Richard Burton coming to the rehearsal as drunk to all the insecurities that came to the surface during this rehearsal process, this is just a great story about art and how a lot of the times artists need to go to dark places to understand how the best to portray something that they're trying to do, and how on that journey it is ultimately appreciated to have people who can really push you towards your creative vision. And this show just perfectly sums it up, especially because it culminates in the success of this production. The play also honors Shakespeare and Hamlet, and if you're a fan of Shakespeare's work and just generally of more traditional theatre, then you would really enjoy this. Hamlet is known to be one of the most performed plays ever, but is also known to be a play that either makes or breaks an actor. For a lot of actors, this is the ultimate honor that they're trying to achieve, to get to play Hamlet, and for many of them this is the point where they propel into stardom if they've done it well. The Motive and the Cue really gives Hamlet that position of that ultimate actor's goal that it deserves. It really helps you understand the piece better by the way that it's directed and by the way it talks about the play and just the choices that actor need to go through. And it's also interesting that John Gielgud performed Hamlet 500 times in 5 different productions, and he was very close to this character, which is also the reason why they clashed so much. Besides this real life drama that unfolded, which already gives this play an appeal, the cast and creatives behind The Motive and the Cue are some of the best in the game. Starting from the cast with Mark Gatiss as Sir John Gielgud. You might know Mark from Sherlock Holmes, where he portrays the character of Malcolm, Sherlock's brother. Then Johnny Flynn, who plays Richard Burton, and you might know him from movies such as Emma or sitcom Lovesick, which I personally love. And then Tappis Middleton, who is Elizabeth Taylor in this play. You might know her from Sense8 or Downton Abbey, but this is not where the brilliance of the creative team ends. On the production side, we have Jack Thorne, who is a playwright and a mastermind behind Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And then Sam Mendes directed this play, and Sam Mendes is known for the Lehman trilogy that you might have seen last year, or movies such as American Beauty and Skyfall. So this is all to say that this is the best of the best, telling a story about a theater in this amazing love letter to the industry. The Motive and the Cue is one of those plays that fits within that stripped down version of theater bucket, in a sense that it is very simple in terms of staging. There aren't too many set changes, and just generally most of this play is set in the rehearsal room, which literally looks like a rehearsal room. The colors are also very neutral, and also there aren't too many sounds or sound effects or music. It just feels a little bit bare, which in some ways give you that feeling of eavesdropping on different conversations that you shouldn't be part of, and it almost feels like you are in the room where it all happened. So it truly transfers you to that time in a very subtle way, and only there's a bit more music, as far as I remember, towards the end in this like amazing final scene that literally gave me goosebumps and made me cry. Ultimately, I feel that this is the play that deserves another watch. Every now and then there are those kind of plays that touch you deeply and make you feel a certain way that you just feel they did not reveal themselves fully during that first watch, and that's how I felt about The Motive and the Q, which means that it is definitely on the cards for me to go and see it before it closes at the end of March. This is just type of the play that makes you think about theater in a different way, makes you think about, well, Hamlet in a different way, but just generally about the creative process. And I feel that there are so many interesting nuggets of information that I just want to hear again and experience again. Overall, I loved The Motive and the Cue because I'm a big theater nerd and I really enjoy the craft of theater, but it is a bit more of a serious show that I would suggest you go and see if you are really into the craft, into just understanding theater, because ultimately it is a love letter to theater rather than anything else. And I don't think this is necessarily suitable for audiences that are a bit younger because it's just a little bit harder to follow, and personally it took me some time to get into it. But if this doesn't sound like your type of show, I have a video that lists top 5 shows that I've seen last year, which you can still see in 2024, and those are my favorite shows that I can't wait to go and see again, so check it out.